Being a man, a preacher, a businessman, or even a husband isn't easy for Marcus Lamb. Marcus dated a married woman in secret for 7 years before he was caught. When the truth came out, he didn't want to own up to it, so he tried to change the story. I remember seeing him on TV acting like the real problem wasn't that he cheated on his wife for years, but that someone was trying to get $7,500,000 from it. They said that 3 people told them they would tell everyone about the affair if the ministry didn't pay them $7,500,000. Let's talk about the threat of violence. First, could you tell us when and how you were first approached? Did someone call you? Was it an email, writing? How? That's right. We got the information a few weeks ago. It was their plan to use our pain against us. That's why we were shocked and angry that they wanted this much money from God. Media sources, such as Good Morning America and Ms. Roberts, were told this story by Lamb. Oh, they're trying to extort me. They want money from me. He then says, let's talk about the extortion. She's going with what he said. Oh, I see. She's a reporter. When and how were you first approached? Did someone call you? Was it an email? Writing? How? Good. Now pay close attention. Did you get a call? Was it an email? Writing? How? That is, Marcus, how did you know that these people were trying to get money from you? Email, call, or letter? How? Marcus Lamb tried to avoid the question. Tell us when and how you were first approached. Did someone call you? Was it an email, writing? How? The knowledge finally reached us a few weeks ago. It was clear that he didn't want the people to know. Furthermore, I am reading from the case that what I am analyzing is true for fun. The alleged blackmail took place during a meeting with 2 of Daystar's lawyers in their office. The threat was not made by the 3 alleged extortionists, but by a qualified lawyer with 29 years of experience and a perfect track record. Marcus Lamb did not answer the question. Instead, he said, well, a couple of weeks ago, we heard that these 3 people were demanding $7,500,000 to keep from going to the media. This is what I'm reading from the case, which says these things that I'm talking about for fun. It was both wrong and hurtful to say. At the end of the episode, Miss Roberts asked Marcus one last question about the extortion case. She was really into it. Why wouldn't they? Marcus and Joni were very smart to do this. Okay, so what they had been hiding was finally going to be revealed, and they would have to deal with it somehow. They wanted to twist it in a way that would help them, though, so they came up with this way to deal with it. This is just my idea for fun. The liberal media would, of course, cover it. The news media loves stories about Christians who sin. That makes them happy. Because of this, they gave him a stage and then told them the story that Marcus and Joni wanted to spread. I'm sorry, but I think they or the network paid Ms. Roberts off, or she just believed everything they said. Anyway, it was clear that Marcus had led her to think that the 3 alleged extortionists' identities and whereabouts were unknown and that a manhunt was in progress. So, Marcus Lamb made them think that these 3 people were trying to extort him. No one knew who they were, but they were going to find them. I called the police, I called the sheriff of Boone County, and he's on his way down to... That was not true, though. He knew who they were without a doubt. He knew these people very well and understood why they were calling, and it wasn't to get money. It was to make things right. After being harmed, they were known to him. He also knew who their lawyer was because the lawyer had met with them at their home. 3 people tried to get $7,500,000 from Marcus Lamb and Daystar, he said, but that doesn't seem to be the case at all when you look more closely. What really took place? Well, 3 people who used to work for Daystar sued the company. It's hard not to doubt Marcus's story when you look at the details. especially the story of the second complainant. From 2002 to 2010, this woman worked for Daystar before she was fired. During the whole time she worked on the Joni show, she was in charge of producing it. What did she do that got her fired? Was the work not good enough? Breaking the rules at work? Not at all. She lost her job because she dated another worker. That's it. She was scolded, put down, and eventually fired by Joni Lamb because of the relationship, but the male employee she dated got away with it. Not a promotion, no firing, nothing. Is that fair? The court paper says the following. She was in charge of making the show The Joni Show, which starred Joni Lamb. The woman worked closely with Joni Lamb, who was her direct boss the whole time she was employed. During the course of the plaintiff's job, she started going out with a male Daystar employee. The connection wasn't against any of Daystar's rules. Joni Lamb told the plaintiff to end her friendship with the other employee on January 11, 2010. The suit says that Joni Lamb scolded, put down, and harassed them for about 2 hours. When the plaintiff asked about it, Joni Lamb said that she had shamed both Daystar and herself. She also said that the plaintiff was sick and called her a liar. Also, Joni Lamb asked the plaintiff direct and rude questions about her friendship with the other worker. No one at Daystar made that demand of the worker boy that the plaintiff was seeing. Daystar put the complainant down on purpose. There were many times when people insulted and abused her, and some of them were directly connected to her gender. The applicant was fired without a good reason on March 10, 2010. The male worker that the plaintiff had been seeing wasn't moved or fired because of his relationship with the plaintiff. If you are a lawyer and your client has been fired for dating someone while the other person walks away unscathed, you will do something about it. It wasn't blackmail. When someone was treated badly, they stood up for themselves. And let's be honest, if Marcus Lamb's personal life was a mess, many people say he had an affair for 6 or 7 years, then it makes sense that this would come up in court, not a form of blackmail. Anything like this would be something a good lawyer would look up to show a trend of unfair treatment. What a crazy idea. How can you fire someone for dating a neighbor when the person in charge of the whole network is said to be having an affair? That difference in standards is very clear. Marcus wasn't being sued just because people wanted money. People were being abused, and the hypocrisy was too big for him to ignore. The framework of the rest of the script stays the same, and there are no grammar mistakes.